A PlayStation 4 game that isn't even a year old right now is dirt cheap. You gotta look at The Division 2 as well as the major updates that's coming to that game in the form of Warlords of New York. We'll highlight all of that and all of the updates that will be bringing. Also, an awesome game has been rated for the PlayStation 4 in Europe in My Friend Pedro that came out on PC and Xbox One, but now it's looking to make the transition to PlayStation 4 as well. And Stardew Valley developer is working on 2 new games. We'll highlight that at the end of this video. First up, I know The Division isn't everyone's favorite game, however, The Division 2 is dirt cheap right now on the PlayStation Store. 95% off, yes, not 80% off, not 85% off, not even 90% off, 95% off. What does that bring it down to? Well, a measly, dirt cheap $2.99. For that price, how can you say no to The Division 2? Now, The Division 2 hasn't even been out for a year. It came out on March 15th of 2019, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was much better than the launch version of the first Division title, and I thought there was a lot of fun to be had, especially if you played with a couple of friends. Why it plummeted in price, I have no idea. I feel like sales numbers were relatively decent as well. But if you do look at the typical Ubisoft MO, they put out a game for $60, people will buy it, and then that game just falls and falls in price. You see it with literally every game they put out. That's why if you're a little bit strapped for cash, I always recommend, if it's a Ubisoft game, if you can wait at least a month, I'm telling you guys, even in a month, a lot of the times the game will be 50% off, especially the games that come out during the holidays and you parlay the holiday sales with it. These games just go really cheap really quickly, and I remember in the case of The Division 2, I think within 2 months it was down to south of $30, so that's how crazy it was. But never did I expect that within a year it would be down to $2.99. I don't think this is indicative of the game doing bad sales numbers or anything like that. I think this is more so Ubisoft just wanting everybody to buy the game, and they're parlaying this sale with the announcement of this major expansion that will be dropping on March 3rd, so it does make a lot of sense why they're discounting it now. I'm sure this was meticulously planned, and it's not like, hey, let's throw out this Division 2 sale right now for no reason, like how it seems with a lot of other PlayStation Store sales. But hey, I'm not complaining that we get a billion PlayStation Store sales every week. But let's talk about this expansion. Yes, pick up the game right now for $2.99, that's great, but the Division 2 expansion, Warlords of New York, has been announced. Ubisoft has announced the Division 2 expansion, Warlords of New York. It'll launch on March 3rd across PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and Uplay Plus, and later in March for Stadia. While current The Division 2 players can purchase the expansion on its own, new players can purchase the standard edition, which includes the Division 2 base game and the Division 2 Warlords of New York expansion. And I believe the $2.99 version does not include Warlords of New York, so you have to bear that in mind. So obviously, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you into the Division 2. Hopefully you like it, and hopefully you'll buy the Warlords of New York expansion. I imagine post March 3rd, at that point, they're going to start offering the standard edition, and it'll go back to its regular $60 price point, and then it'll include the Warlords of New York expansion. So kind of funny how they're doing that. Nonetheless, the Division 2 base game and the Division 2 Warlords of New York expansion will be included in the standard edition. The Ultimate Edition, which gives players both the game and its expansion, as well as all of the Division 2's Year 1 content, classified assignments, and unlocked specializations, will also be available. All players must be at level 30 and have reached World Tier 5 to join the Division 2 Warlords of New York. As such, each edition of the game will come with a level 30 boost that players can activate if they wish to do so, to immediately jump into the New York expansion. After completing the Division 2 Warlords of New York campaign, agents can then fast travel freely between Washington, D.C. and New York City to enjoy the entire range of the Division 2's content. All players pre-purchasing the expansion will be granted a free level 30 boost that they can use at their discretion to jump their character to level 30 in the Division 2 ahead of the expansion's release. The game notes a narrative expansion to discover a new area in New York City. In Tom Clancy's The Division 2 Warlords of New York, Division agents will go on the ultimate manhunt for Aaron Keener, a former Division agent who has now gone rogue. Keener, along with his network of rogue agents, is now a major threat to the burgeoning rebirth of civilization. To track down Keener, agents will roam the untamed living open world of Lower Manhattan, a former dark zone that was recently hit by a devastating hurricane that hit New York City harder than anywhere else in the US. Agents are tasked to explore new zones, each with iconic locations such as Two Bridges, Chinatown, and Wall Street. To get to Keener, players must take down each of his rogue agents. Each rogue agent has their own unique backstory and skill, which you can gain once you take them down. The ultimate vision of Tom Clancy's The Division 2 Warlords of New York. After taking the time to hear and gather community feedback, core gameplay enhancements have been implemented across various topics such as build diversity, gear streamlining, and even more meaningful loot. Along with The Division 2 Warlords of New York Title Update 8, which will include an RPG overhaul allowing players to better read and manage their gear inventory, the UI screen will be updated to always show the roll ranges for each stat on a piece of gear or weapon. The overhaul also includes the return of God rolls, improving readability and helping players make better decisions on the gear's usefulness to their build. Additionally, players will see a more streamlined gear recalibration system with item and stat usefulness indicators, as well as permanent attribute and stat storage at the recalibration station. This will allow agents the flexibility to plan the perfect build. The existing dark zones in The Division 2 are also being revitalized, returning to a simpler rogue mechanic. The focus is on rewarding player-to-player interaction, whether it's fighting against each other or helping a fellow agent against a tough rogue player. In The Division 2 Warlords of New York, the player's level cap will increase from level 30 to level 40, but it doesn't stop there. The Division 2 Warlords of New York is also introducing an infinite progression system, the SHD level, and 4 new skills that can be used throughout the game. Owners of the expansion will also get access to new gear and new weapons. Also on top of that, you're introducing seasons, including leagues and the return of global events, post-launch content, and available tomorrow, Tom Clancy's The Division 2 Episode 3, Coney Island, The Hunt. So a lot of content is rolling out to The Division 2. $3 right now for the base game, but the imperative here is you just get the base game. You do not get this new expansion, which will be sold separately. This is obviously the Ubisoft MO here. They're trying to sell you on the main game. And then come March 3rd, hopefully you like it enough and you'll pick up Warlords of New York. It's a smart strategy. And ultimately, it's a final push to sell The Division 2 before Warlords of New York comes out. At that point, the Standard Edition is going to include that expansion by the looks of it, and I imagine that the value of the game would also go up, and from then on out, when they put The Division 2 on sale, they're not going to put it at a steep of a discount as you're seeing right now. I highly doubt that post-March 3rd, you're ever going to see The Division 2 down to $3, but that is something to note, and you can get it now for $3, but you won't get that expansion. Alright, lastly, we got a couple of things to cover. The awesome PC and Xbox One title in My Friend Pedro is making the transition to the PlayStation 4 by the looks of it. The Pan-European Game Information Board has rated the Devolver Digital published Dead to Toast Entertainment developed My Friend Pedro for the PlayStation 4. My Friend Pedro launched on Xbox One and PC back in December of 2019. My Friend Pedro is a violent ballet about friendship, imagination, and one man's struggle to obliterate anyone in his path at the behest of a sentient banana. The strategic use of split aiming, slow motion, and the old stylish window breach create one sensational action sequence after another in an explosive battle through the violent underworld. Unleash a torrent of destruction with an incredible level of control over both your weapons and your body. Twist and turn through the air while aiming both hands at priority threats, or line up a perfect ricochet to drop an unsuspecting gangster from behind. Break up the high-octane running and gunning a bit with dynamic sequences like a thrilling motorcycle chase, or to slow it all down and take a moment to think through a series of clever and possibly fatal physics-based puzzles. My Friend Pedro doesn't have an official release date for the PlayStation 4, and hell, it doesn't even have an official confirmation, but 9 out of 10 times, I would honestly say like 99 out of 100 times, whenever a game is rated on one of these ratings boards, it does end up coming to fruition, and I would imagine exactly the same for My Friend Pedro, and probably we would get a release later in 2020, probably even in the first half, given that when these games do get rated, they do come out pretty shortly thereafter, especially a game like this, which would just be a direct port. And lastly, I do want to note that Stardew Valley developer Eric Barone, the one-man developer behind the game, confirmed via his Twitter account that he is working on 2 new games. Barone went on to clarify that one of them will not be related to farming, but will, however, be set in the world of Stardew Valley. The other game will also tie into the game in some capacity, but the details remain kind of scarce at this point. He noted, "Yes, I'm actually working on a couple of new projects. One takes place in the world of Stardew Valley, but is not a farming game. The other, I'm not 100% sure about the world yet, but it will tie into Stardew Valley in some way." Obviously, Stardew Valley was a colossally successful game, being a one-man developed title, it ended up selling very, very well. And yes, while it had a lot of resemblances to games such as Harvest Moon and games of that like Animal Crossing, it also offered a lot of unique elements in its own right. I love the old school look, and it just got a very, very positive reception. 89 on Metacritic, so 175,000 reviews on Steam, and 97% of those have been positive, leading it to an overwhelmingly positive reception. That's kind of crazy in that regard, and you could have sunk an insane amount of time into that game. So it was a great title, and I'm excited to see what Eric Barone can come up with next, especially with 2 games in the works. Maybe he'll expand a little bit, work with some other people. I don't know what his intentions are, but that is exciting nonetheless. If we hear more about that, I'll definitely let you guys know. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, get the Division 2 dirt cheap right now, $2.99, but just be mindful of the fact that you will not get the Warlords of New York expansion. That'll be coming out on March 3rd, and that will be coming with the standard edition at that point, but at that point the value of the game would also theoretically go up. My friend Pedro has been rated for the PlayStation 4 in Europe, and Stardew Valley developer Eric Barone is working on 2 brand new games. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.